Hey there. Hey everyone. And I know it's been quite a day, 2-3 weeks since I uploaded a video. I know there's gonna be one question. What the heck happened to my hair? Well, I donated it. It's simple as that. But I'm just here to make a little video talking about, well, my thoughts on this. And don't worry, yes, I have played the game. I just put almost everything back in there as of now, except for that art book, because that's a nice little gem for sure. And also the pins upstairs in my room anyways, but anyhow, aside from that, let's get right to things, shall we? Let's talk about Kingdom Hearts 3. And yes, this is gonna be like a non-scripted thing, because you know me, I don't script my own stuff due to, well, my poor time management. But anyhow, let's talk about KH3, and yes, there are going to be spoilers in this video, so if you don't want to watch it, just kindly click away, or, close the video off, because I am going to spoiler territory. Well, not immediately, at the very least. I'm going to try and at least be talking about this thing in an orderly manner. So then, and let's get started, shall we? Now, what should I talk about first? Let me talk about my experiences with each of the worlds in the game. And yes, this is going to be going right up towards the end of the game. And I'm also going to be explaining my own gameplay experience as well. So this way it all kind of meshes together in a way. So then, let's start off with the Olympus world. Or actually, let's start off with the Chamber of Waking. As Sora once again goes down there. Although at the start of the game, we actually get to play a few seconds as Kingdom Hearts 1 Sora. Or, just classic Sora. However you want to call him. When we played as him in Kingdom Hearts 1. Anyhow, we get to control him for a little bit. He can only run and jump, and that's it. Until you go up to a mirror, and then it shifts right over to Kingdom Hearts 2 Sora, which, by the way, you start playing as Sora in his Kingdom Hearts 2 attire in the Olympus world. But anyway, so let's see here. One thing I found pretty interesting about the Chamber of Waking this time around was that you didn't have to give up something. Instead, at the start, you get to choose a desire, if I recall. And it's based on 3 different factors here. If you choose the power of the Mystic, I think it was called, that, or it might be Wisdom. I'm thinking Wisdom or Mystic, so I might be mixed up. But anyways, there's the power of Wisdom, the power of the desire of Vitality, and the desire of Balance. Now, what this does for you at the start of the game is basically, it sort of balances out whether or not, the bonus gains of HP or MP throughout the course of the story. So, for example, let's say you chose the power of Vitality. You would gain more HP than MP going throughout the story. And vice versa if you chose the power of the Mystic. Now, quote me if I am wrong on this, if it's Wisdom or Mystic. Because I'm mixing it up between the powers and the desires here. But anyways, I chose Balance at the start, and, well, to say the least, I ended up with a lot of HP and MP by the end of the game. And yes, I did play this game on Proud Mode, but my thoughts are going to be saved towards the end of the game for that bit. So, let's continue. After choosing, and I also chose the power of the Warrior, because I thought there would be a critical difficulty option for the game, except I found out that there's no critical option. And right now there is a unfinished version of critical mode in the game's files. So yeah, there's that. But anyhow, after choosing your desire and power, you get to fight a watery version of the dark side, which I felt a little bit unprepared to face because, well, for one, his attacks feel a little bit faster, especially that one attack where he reaches into the ground and pulls up a ball of negative energy, and then it rains down pretty much bullet hell for a little bit. Or energy ball hell, however you want to call it. It's after defeating the watery dark side, you do gain access to fire and water magic from the get-go, so you get 2 spells to start off with. Yes. Now, and also, in terms of the story of the game, I am going to try and go by quick, because you know how my phone is. So, we get to Olympus after some exposition from Yen Sid at the Mysterious Tower, and then a little bit more in the Gummy Ship. And yes, this is taken off from the final scene in 0.2, a fragmentary passage. So, we get that. Once at Olympus, we get to have ourselves a look around along with fighting a few Heartless, and yes, as you can possibly die early on, I suggest having a look at your menu to start off with, because you do have access to your menu and the customization option, or the custom shortcut menu, which is now, instead of just having one little list of 4 different options to choose from, you now have 3 lists, and each of them are 4, so you can have up to 12 options during battle. And that gives you a lot to play around with. Well, I'll get to that soon enough. Now, for the sake of this video, to try and make sure each of my experiences per world are kind of wrapped up in a short manner. For Olympus, I did thoroughly enjoy it, even though it did take me quite a while to get through. It did feel lengthy because I was trying to explore as much as I can of it. And trying to acquire every treasure, except by the end of the game, I was missing a lot of chests because I found out that they weren't in an orderly fashion to collect them. So, yeah, there was that. But, anyhow, aside from that, my overall experience with the first world, Olympus, was pretty nice. Later on, I did go back and do the first of the Fantastic 7 challenges, which it was annoying because I kept bumping into stuff when I was trying to turn to avoid getting collided with a wall, and even if I tried turning away from the wall, it would often I would often hit another wall or corner, and just continued at times. It did frustrate me, but that wasn't the most infuriating of the mini-games, or at least that's what I think. I even did the 5 golden statues, which I didn't even know was a thing, because that thing is only saved for when you go back into the world of Olympus, and then walk around, I think it was Thebes, the town of Thebes, to find those 5 statues. So after Olympus, I got a little bit of the taste with the Gummy Ship, although my experience with the Gummy Ship, if just to be short with you, it was rather short because I was rushing through just getting to each world for the most part, until I went back to do it later on for completionist's sake, and, well, I really did thoroughly enjoy the Gummy sections. A lot of people I feel like did, although when you get the Golden Highwind from the Schwarzgeist, I'll talk about him soon enough, you pretty much have the most broken Gummy Ship in all of Kingdom Hearts 3. So then, what else is there? After going to Olympus and then flying around within a galaxy-like area for a bit. Well, that would be a Twilight Town. It was a short experience, but I did have a lot of fun, and it got me to enjoy, well, there was the Bistro, which I didn't end up doing for a majority of the game, and I did it closer to the end game. And the reason for that is because I didn't trust my own skill with getting the excellence, and I didn't want to sink too much time into the game getting those excellence. So I wanted to wait a little later until I had the second Gourmand's Ring, the first one you could get off from getting the first star in the Bistro by cooking a couple of meals. And the second one you do get by random chance from the postcard, from mailing in postcards, and it is a random chance of getting that. Same thing with the Orichalcum Plus, which you need later on to make the ultimate weapon. And I did kind of wish for Twilight Town it was extended anymore, because it felt pretty short. Everything was just all in one area that didn't have any load times whatsoever. It was a small world, literally one of the smallest worlds in Kingdom Hearts 3. Now, after Twilight Town, then it's off to Toy Box, except you get stopped by your first gummy boss. He can be tough, which is the Astral Warrior or something? I forget its name. But it's basically a gummy ship Heartless that basically has a blaster claw, meaning it'll just launch a claw at you, and another arm that's basically used for shooting bullets at you. But once you take that down, you have access to Toy Box and can go to that world. I really enjoy Toy Box a lot, though the one little thing I had with a little issue I had with that world were the Gigases. They felt a little bit too overpowered if you're not trying to use them, because they had a lot of health compared to the other Heartless. And yes, that did feel annoying, that they pit you against high HP foes that are basically tanks, except they kind of move fast. Now, you can overpower them by getting a Gigas of your own, but that kind of felt like it soured the gameplay a little bit when you think about it. Especially if you're going back into that world because you missed treasure chests. The story I did thoroughly enjoy. I even loved the part where Woody told off young Xehanort. That was an enjoyable scene right there. The boss fight of that world was pretty nice overall. I did enjoy it. Now, note that I didn't say anything about the boss of Olympus. Oh boy. I'll just say this real quick. That was a bit of a tough first boss, but an epic one nonetheless. Yes, because you're fighting against 3 Titans. The first 2 are the Ice and Lava Titan, and then finally the Tornado Titan, which had a lot more HP compared to the other 2. And was a little bit tougher, and I didn't even know anything about Aerial Guard. Oh boy. Was that a fun experience. Anyhow, after Toy Box, off to Kingdom of Corona. That world felt a little bit confusing on where to go, because the world is pretty big. I do like its environments, though it was hard for me to really know where to go a little bit. And I did realize that there is a little side mission that you can do, but the game doesn't quite tell you about it whatsoever until you do all of them and reach the end, or until you reach the city of Corona itself. And what you get are 4 AP boosts and a Force Clasp, which gives you HP Walker, and that could be useful to you if you're running low on HP. Although, even though I wanted to use it, I didn't really feel like it was too necessary throughout the course of the game. So, after the first sector, then you're off to the second sector. And also, one thing I found out about gummy ships is that you can get yourself a special little gummy ship if you collect 15 different pieces of a blueprint in each sector. And there are only 3 sectors, mind you, so you can get 3 different gummy ships that are very special and on their own rights. And one of these ships, called the Sirius, is something you are going to need if you are attempting to beat the Schwarzgeist. I can talk about this now because you can fight this as soon as you get into the second sector, and either get the Endymion constellation. Yes, the constellations will give you a special gummy ship blueprint, or get Sirius, which is one of the other special blueprint gummy ships. You need a ship that has over 250 speed, but even that alone won't get you through it. You also need the repair kit so you can survive this fight. It may have about a total of 5 bars of HP, 4 on the side, but that boss is very tough. It will keep constantly throwing attacks at you, and they can be pretty heavy in damage, so you gotta be mindful of that. One tip I can give about its main body is that, and yes, it is 2 phases, is that you want to destroy the area that is shooting out all those rockets. But once you defeat the Schwarzgeist, you get the most powerful gummy ship in the game. It can just breeze through anything. Minus the Schwarzgeist itself, you do need to stay on that boss for a bit and grind out the components if you want to get that A rank. Now, what's the next world? Monstropolis. I really enjoyed it, though when I had to go back to grind, it felt tedious at the very least, trying to get the sinister materials, because that's the only world, as far as I know, that has the sinister materials, because only Unversed drop that, and that was annoying. But still, I did enjoy Monstropolis. It was a pretty lengthy world, and well, the boss at the end was pretty challenging nonetheless. It was pretty beefy, except when it exposes itself, but I hardly did damage to that because it kept blowing me back with those inky wings. And yes, I did hear of that little meme called Yeetus Vanitas. Yeetus. So now I understand what that meme is. But even before that, I really love the scene where Sully picks up Vanitas, and then as Mike is getting a bunch of doors open, well, let's see, Vanitas is chucked through one door, that door is taken, thrown to another door, and then so forth. That was a funny scene in on itself. And I really like the callback during the course of the world, where, Sora did that special face. Yeah, that's a nice reference to Kingdom Hearts 1 right there for sure. And let me think. Other than that, Monstropolis was good, and the Keyblade you get there is pretty nice. And yes, I know I'm lacking in telling about certain details of gameplay. Maybe I might save it to the end. I'm sorry, I'm not good at unscripted videos. But anyways, after that, we're off to Arendelle. One of my least favorite worlds, to be honest. Okay, you're gonna be wondering, why is this one of my least favorite worlds? It's not because, Frozen is overrated. No, it's not that. The reason why I didn't like that world so much is because of the story. It really felt it was staying too close to its roots, and felt like a recreation of the movie in Kingdom Hearts. Heck, they even had the entire song "Let Go" put in there. They're kind of flexing how good the game is in terms of its looks. But overall, the story felt like it was going nowhere. And plus, I felt like some of the snowy areas felt a little bit dried out. And also, Hans, as the villain, he really did not get a lot of time to shine. We only saw him more towards the end of the world itself, and he didn't say a dang word like Phil did in Olympus. Although I did hear that, in terms of Phil's voice actor, which I think he passed away, pretty much, or the English voice actor passed away, or the Japanese one. I forget which is which, but it had to do with Phil's voice actor. But aside from that, for the world of Frozen, it sucked to me, and I didn't really like how, your party member, your Disney-themed party member, does not join you until the end of the world, which is really sucky. And yes, you do get to fight him as a mini-boss earlier in the game, but he can be a pushover. There's no lie about that. He can be a freaking pushover. So, what else is there about that world? Well, the boss of that world itself was pretty cool. That Ice Wolf boss. It gave me, it reminded me of the fight against Mufasa. I think his name was, right? Yeah. No. It was Scar. I am so sorry. The fight against Scar back in the Pride Lands in Kingdom Hearts 2. Because of that one skill, because of that one attack where the enemy, he just darts off to the side and then goes after you a moment later. I felt like that was eerily similar to Scar. Anyways, aside from Arendelle, we're on to the Pirates of the Caribbean world, and okay, that world was fun to explore. I even loved grabbing all the treasure chests and such. It kind of makes you feel like a true pirate, though I kind of have a couple of gripes with that world. The story of that world really did suck, mainly because the pacing was off. It didn't explain what was going on, and who certain characters were, and what they were all about. Maybe it better explain it in the character archives, but if people aren't reading those so often, you might want to tell it in-game. Just saying. And my second gripe with the world is that, well, the progression in terms of gameplay did suck, because it literally leaves you with the option of either exploring the other little islands or going straight to the last boss of that world. Like, really? Really? You give us this option to pilot our own ship, finally to give us some freedom. But now you're telling us, oh, we need you at the final battle. What the... Like, I didn't like that idea. I didn't like it. That felt thrown on off to me. Yeah. And it really did bite. It really did. And again, like, I did not enjoy that whatsoever. Ever. And then there was the last Disney World, which was honestly the one I was most excited for, but I felt kind of disappointed. Yes, San Francisco from Big Hero 6. I felt like this world was big, except it felt a little smaller than it should be, for one. And secondly, the story was awfully short. Again, you're starting to see a little bit of a repetitive pattern with a couple of these Disney worlds now, aren't you? Oh, man. At least the Keyblade out of that world is nice. The last boss of that world, however, didn't really feel like it was so much of a challenge, especially since you're on the Interceptor wing the whole entire fight. I kind of felt like the story of that world could have been better paced. I mean, it does kind of continue on from the original Big Hero 6 movie, if I recall. I may be missing a few plot details here and there. But I feel like that world could have been better expanded upon. Like, the story could have been a little bit longer, instead of feeling like, oh, everything takes place over the course of, like, let's see, starting at maybe nighttime, daytime, and then going over to at least, like, 1 or 2 in-game days, maybe. 1 or 2. After that, though, we have the end-game content. Now, let me go over the other Keyblades real quick, because pretty much I don't recall you getting any other Keyblades aids from the story after the last Disney World, which was San Francisco, except Starlight. You do get that in the last world, unless you got the code for Starlight, and you can get that thing basically right out of the gate from Kingdom Hearts 3. Isn't that something, huh? Now, okay. The endgame stuff really was, well, from what I've been hearing from a lot of people, and now that I've had some time to see some reviews and look at things, yeah, I could tell that some people were not too happy with the overall pacing of the finale. And yes, I didn't quite enjoy it myself a little bit. First off, Anti-Aqua. Now, I did like this idea of Aqua being corrupted by the darkness, but she does not come out of the realm of darkness whatsoever. Like, she was basically Norded ordered from what it looked like. Because she had the amber eyes, she had that silver hair. But she was not like that for so long. She was not. And there's one big gripe with the story that a lot of people and that I'm starting to see have with Sora, and basically the story itself a little bit, is that people keep telling Sora that you need the power of waking. You cannot go to the realm of darkness. Yeah, about that, that's kind of BS. Because Sora literally saves Aqua without needing the power of waking. Well, her heart wasn't necessarily sleeping, but come on. Sora could have went to the realm of darkness even if he didn't know how. And who knows how long the Master's Defender Keyblade was on Destiny Islands to begin with. No one knew it was there beforehand. And no one at all. Until Sora decided to trust his heart to guide him back to Destiny Islands. Which maybe he could have done earlier in the game. And with the Master's Defender in hand, Sora goes to the Realm of Darkness. And basically, he helps Riku in defeating that Demon Tower. Then Sora goes on to defeat Aqua. Or Anti-Aqua. And let me be honest with you, that fight felt pathetic. It felt too easy. Especially since I wasn't even over-leveled, mind you. I was at a pretty good point in the game where, I feel pretty powerful, especially with my current setup. Because yes, I did focus on one thing, and that's like healing items and such, but you know what's funny? I even finished it off with a freaking pirate ship because I didn't mean to use a pirate ship. And I learned one thing about that attraction ride, and it's that, well, yeah, you can change its direction, but they ain't never told me that unless I didn't read directions. Anyhow, so, that fight felt a little bit too easy. I felt like it was going to be epic and grand, but it wasn't. Especially since Aqua had a low amount of HP compared to some of the other bosses up to that point. What the heck? And I do agree with people, she should have been saved for a midway boss fight, considering how some bosses have a lot of HP going further and further into the game. Maybe she could have been used as a boss after Arendelle. Maybe after Monstropolis. One of those two worlds. Come on. Anyhow, then there's a lengthy cutscene in that basically, cutscenes that has everybody chilling at, wait. I forgot one part, and this was one of my favorite bits of the game. You get to go back to the land of departure. Yes, it gets fully restored after Aqua uses the Master's Defender to basically unlock the land, and it goes back to normal even though it was wrecked by darkness. Okay. Hey then. And then there is a save point. You proceed upstairs where Ventus is still sleeping. But here's the cool thing. Venus was there. Aqua bars the way off between Sora, Ordell, and Goofy. And the cool thing you get to do is that you get to play as Aqua. Yes, that was a cool bit. And I still kind of had my feel with Aqua back from 0.2, so the fight was alright to me. I did like that Venus fight. The first of two, that is. Yes, there's a second one, but I'll explain that a little later. Now, even though you beat Venus, Aqua gets bodied afterward. It's basically she goes down. What is it with games and just having, fights where, you win, but then in-game, you lose? What is up with that? Come on, if you're gonna have a boss fight, don't have us just lose afterwards if we won it. I hate that trope in some RPGs. Anyhow, Ow. And then, basically, Venture suddenly, he communicates with Sora, and Sora suddenly gets the power of waking to get N back into action. And, which, let me be honest, that kind of sucked. That Sora just, I have the power of waking now! Just like that. And then afterwards, there is that lengthy cutscene, or series of cutscenes. Almost everybody meets up at Yensid's tower, even Kairi and Lee, Edu. And then after that, everybody has a little bit of downtime to do what they please and such. I'm not going to go through all of that because it was lengthy, and I probably don't remember each and every one of them. There is that one scene in where Kairi and Sora share a Powerpuff Fruit, but even though it feel warm inside from seeing that, when I do think about it a little bit, they haven't really talked to each other so much until closer to the end of the game, and it's like, what the heck? Oh, jeez. Alright, this video is about half an hour long, dear Arceus. Ho-ho. So, let me keep going here. So, you gain access to the third and final sector, and this is the area where you can get your second to last Orichalcum Plus if you've been collecting them. The other ways of getting your Orichalcum Pluses are doing the Frozen Slime minigame at Arendelle, completing the other Fantastic 7 challenges, which can only be done in the Disney Worlds, mind you. Ooh, let's see. The one Toy Box had to do with a strawberry, I think, and pretty much you have to use teacups to collect other flan, and it's Akama Pie, Then let's see. The one in Kingdom of Corona was the most infuriating because as you had to take perfectly timed photos of 7 different flans, and there are a couple of specific ones you gotta take as well to get that high score. Or, let's see. After Kingdom of Corona, Monstropolis had a little bit of a tough one. I suggest getting the Storm Flag, the High Wind Keyblade from the Pirates of the Caribbean world, which is a personal favorite amongst people because of its high ice speed and damage, and plus multiple hits, so that's great. To use against that. Basically, you have to defeat hordes of enemies while avoiding a big flan, and at the same time, because if it hits you, because if it chops you, you're done, basically. After that, you have, let's see, what's in Arendelle? Oh yeah, the grape one. That one felt a little bit tedious because you need to have a high damage output to defeat a lot of those flans as well while they're shooting in shards of ice. That could mess up your momentum because of flow motion, and flow motion doesn't feel as good in that game as it once did. In Dream Drop Distance. So, there is that. After that, let me see. In the Pirates of the Caribbean world, oh yeah, in Port Royale, you have to just basically